At 5:30, the judge in the Bardstown murder case of Crystal Rogers delays a decision on one of the suspects today, Joseph Lawson, appearing in court via Zoom. His attorney is asking that Lawson be tried separately from his brother, Steve Lawson, and chief suspect Brooks Houck. The judge hasn't made the ruling yet. Another key ruling is also pending. Where will this trial be held? All of the attorneys have agreed on Hopkinsville in western Kentucky, but the judge has not yet approved that. Joining me live here at 5:30 to talk about all this and why it's so important in one of Kentucky's biggest murder mysteries is Louisville attorney Nick Mudd of the Mudd Law Group. He's following the Rogers case closely. And so, Nick, you know, the prosecutor wants all three tried together. Why would it be beneficial to defense attorneys to have the trials separate from each other?
Well, Doug, no one under any circumstances can say the same thing three times and get their story straight. Defense lawyer, if you're on this case, you want to, first of all, you want to go third. So you have the benefit of two other statements under oath by witnesses. That is a minefield for a witness to testify. And certainly it gives a defense lawyer plenty of ammo to say, hey, last time you said this, the other time you said this, and now you said this, even over trivial matters, and it could totally undermine someone's credibility.
So today the focus was on Joseph Lawson, but it got delayed. Let's talk about his brother, Steve Lawson. He's an interesting, fascinating case to me because he's given so many conflicting stories and hours of recordings with police. At one point, even saying Brooks Houck had nothing to do with Crystal's murder. So Houck's attorney, I'm sure Brian Butler, would really love to cross-examine and question this guy. Would that happen if all three are tried together? Would Brian Butler be able to question Steve Lawson?
It depends on if Steve Lawson took the stand. If he takes the stand, absolutely. However, everyone has a right under the U.S. Constitution not to incriminate themselves, which means not to testify against themselves. And no judge, no attorney, no one can force him to testify as a witness in his own trial. So Mr. Butler may not have a chance to cross-examine him.
You know, you've brought up the case of evidence before. So far you've seen more evidence come out, but we still don't have any remains of Crystal Rogers. Right. Do you still believe it's going to be hard to get a conviction without physical remains or any DNA?
From what it stands right now, absolutely. However, there is something, you know, I've pondered, you and I have talked before. You know, there's this big thing about cell phone records. And a big thing now in cases the past 5 to 10 years has been cell phone triangulation. We all carry them. You've got one, I've got one, and its little dots can tell you where you've been, where you were at, and how long you were there. And I do think, given the size of the record dump from the phones, that could become the key to this case.
You think the technology was there 9 years ago when this case occurred?
Absolutely. I know it's been there for several years now, and I'm positive they probably have it in this case.
I want to take you back to one of your earlier statements you said on this newscast, maybe even months ago. You said that if this case for the prosecution is built on the testimony of the Lawsons, good luck. Brooks Houck walks free. Do you still believe that?
Absolutely. I wouldn't put the whole case on their back at all. They've given so many different conflicting stories, statements, etc. If that's the two star witnesses, I think that Brian Butler and Steve Shoring will have a field day cross-examining them.
All right, Nick Mudd, always interesting of the Mudd Law Group. I appreciate you following the case so closely and giving us your time. We'll be joining him again down the road. Let's check in with Alden German real quick on a big change in our weather.